Dragi naši wine trackeri, vinofili, nastavljamo ovu mini putešestviju u Friuliju, znači posle jučerašnjeg, prve naše destilerije. Moram priznati, nije bilo lako, izborili smo se nekako, tu je bilo svega, ne znam, probaj, ne znam, ovo je muskato, a šta misliš o proseku, kako je ova rezerva 8 godina, kako je, ne znam, ova antika koje, pa smo imali dve premijere. Bukvalno, znači, ta 28 godina grapa i premijeru, bukvalno Elizabeta, vidjeli ste u videu, donela od kuće, što bi se reklo. To izlazi sad 10 godina, odležava pikolit, fenomenalna je grapa. I onda smo svašta tu nešto omaro jedan, omaro drugi, ono, bilo je tvrdo, moram priznati, ali mi to trekujemo, iznosimo. I evo nas ovde, što se kaže, u vinariji. Znači, nastavljamo naš wine tracker put i nalazimo se ovde u Via di Romansu, znači jednoj, hajde kažemo, premium vinarija, možda je od najboljih iz Friulija, što se tiče proizvodnje belih vina, i tu ćemo malo da ih posetimo. Oni imaju i radove, stari podrum, prave pored toga novi podrum, radi se uveliko. Malo ćemo sa Laurom Zanini i njihovim eksport menadžerom da pričamo, pa će nam se pridruži i Galo, vlasnik, pa ćemo da prođemo, malo da gledamo. U stvari ne znam kakav je plan, pa ajmo da vidimo šta su spremili za nas. Ok, Wine Travels, we are here with Laura Zanini. Laura is export manager, you know, for Via di Romans, and we are now begging for more wine.
On your knees.
On your knees, yeah, on your knees, Giorgio, yes. I do everything. We need more wine. Laura, very beautiful day today.
Hey, you're lucky.
Yeah, we are very lucky. And I see, you know, before we're starting, that you are in big construction here, you know.
Yes.
We are making something absolutely new.
It's an well, actually, it was supposed initially to be an extension of the winery, but it's going to be a completely separate thing. So we will move all the offices, and particularly the hospitality, in that building. And underground, there's a kind of technical space and the warehouse, a part of the warehouse. And on the floor at the bottom, there's where we keep the barrels, and we will later on to have a look at it. And upstairs, basically, we will have an entrance and a separate space for private people coming to visit and tasting
everything.
And then there will be a more intimate space for, you know, professionals, people like you coming, so we can be separate from the public and the offices. 2 rooms for big tastings or events. One particular as where we can do seminar, conventions, even exhibitions. And then there's a kitchen.
Like the restaurant, or?
No, it's only for, you know,
for
especially for the guests,
yeah.
for, you know, when we have an event, when we have something, is well equipped, actually, is at the level of a really top restaurant. And then there will be 3 rooms for our guests. It's not going to be agriturismo, so it's only for friends coming.
Yeah, friends coming.
So next time you come, you know, you can have, you know, one we
when
can stay in
open more bottle of wine, sorry, we can try, can we stay? Yes. Yes, because your portfolio is wide, you know.
So that's the place. It's made mostly, as you see, in glass windows, and it's completely.
When is the plan?
The plan is, you know, hopefully to finish it by the end of the year. If not, you know,
February, March.
Yes, it's going to be properly ready for springtime.
Unfortunately, we need to come here again, you know, when you open that place.
Of course. So far, we are using the cellar. The cellar is active, and actually, we've been using it for 2 years now. So it's okay.
Okay, let's go some basic tips for the people who don't know nothing about Via di Roma.
Wow.
What is the...
First of all,
Where we are now?
Well, now we are in Mariano del Friuli, which is a village in the province of Gorizia. We are in appellation Isonzo. It's Friuli Isonzo, actually. It's the appellation of our area. It's a very small one. It's an appellation that covers only flat land, no hillside. And we are basically on a plateau, which is about 30 meters above sea level. So And this is, you know, the appellation takes the name from the river Isonzo, and it's actually divided in two different areas. The northern area is where we are, is where the soil has also a little bit of clay, while the southern part of the appellation is where they generally have more chalk and less clay in the soil. But to understand exactly where you are, where we are, is let's start from the geography. So this is north, and the Alps are about 1 hour drive from here. Actually, 1 hour drive, you have crossed the Alps and you are in Austria. In 40 minutes, you are at the first slopes of the Alps. And this direction is east, and 5 kilometers in this direction, you are already in Slovenia. So we are right on the border.
Yeah.
And south is this direction, it's Mediterranean Sea, so the Adriatic, and it's only 20 kilometers away. And west, like this, is 100 kilometers is Venice. So we are in the most easternmost part of Italy, and the region is squeezed between the Alps. You can see the Alps here now, and the sea. And the Alps, they create a kind of arch, north and east, and they slope down to, you know, the east side. They protect the region from the coldest weather that comes from the north. And in this way, you know, the climate here is very, very peculiar, and it's probably one of the things that affects more the characteristics of our wines. Because of the latitude here, we are on the 46th parallel, which means Macon area in Burgundy, or Oregon's state, you know, Willamette Valley, or in the other hemisphere is the southern part of New Zealand, Otago area. Here we are on the 46th parallel, so it's quite north. The Alps are very close, but at the same time we are also very close to the Mediterranean Sea. And the result is that we have these two different climates that are merging basically. And translated into a glass of wines, this means that the wines, they always have a nice lively acidity, a lot of minerality, and this kind of vertical backbone that comes from the cold continental climate. And then you have this concentration and richness in fruit that comes from the Mediterranean climate, and they are fused together in a single wine. So that's the most peculiar thing. And thinking about that, you have to think that you never have a 50-50 situation. So the climate, some vintages are definitely Mediterranean, some others are definitely, you know, very cold, some others are slightly more Mediterranean or slightly more continental. So there's a variability across the vintages, which makes wines very more interesting. On the other hand, you always find certain characteristics in all the wines, no matter what vintage you are tasting. Another thing that might interest you is definitely the soil.
Soil, yeah.
So basically here the soil is a mixture of sand silt, clay, and a kind of gravel pebbly texture. What changes from one vineyard to the other is the depth of the soil and the rate of clay or stones. So some vineyards, like let's take Champagnes. Champagnes is rather shallow and has more stones. Vie di Romans, so this is the area where this is Vie di Romans. Here we have more clay and a deeper soil. So this really affects the grapes. And so from one hand you have a wine like the Vie di Romans Chardonnay, which is more, let's say, more concentrated, fleshy, probably more complex. And on the other hand, you have the Champagne, which is more straightforward, with much more minerality, focusing more on the fresh and fruity side of the Chard. Yeah, that's the reason why we work only with single vineyards, because there's really a big difference between one plot and the other.
How many vineyards do you have?
We have, right now we have 64 hectares on production. And
it's mostly white grape?
Yes, there's a small percentage.
About 95.
Yes, I would say. Yeah. There's a small production of Merlot and Pinot Noir, Pinot Nero, and that's it. The rest is between mostly Chardonnay, Sauvignon, and Pinot Grigio, and then a smaller quantity Rhine Riesling, Friulano, and Malvasia Striana. That's the grapes that we are working. So they started here, as I said, it's a plateau, it's a flat land. Originally it was a valley, a karst valley. You can see the peak of the two peaks of the valley. Just behind those trees, there's a construction on the top. And those hills, they create the first peak, and the second peak is one of the hills on the top. Yeah. And then basically the soil was doing this, you know, there was this valley. At the bottom, still now, if you dig 80 meters, you find chalk again. During the course of 4 different glaciations, so talking about millenniums, the soil was filled in with different layers of debris that were brought down from the mountains with the melting downs of the glaciers. And you have all these layers of the soil is mostly decalcified, and it has reached now this perfect, at this stage, it's really perfect for the cultivation of the grapes, yes.
Yeah. Also your philosophy with the romance is to make only premium wines.
Yes, absolutely. We don't want to do entry level, and actually we don't even have a pyramidal structure, a range of a wine. So we don't have a top wine, a selection.
Just one line.
Just one line, and it's horizontal. Yeah. So basically, because we're working with single vineyards, and single vineyards are different, are not necessarily better one of the other. Sorry.
Also, for me, interesting that you have 2 clones of Sauvignon, yeah?
Well, it's more than 2.
But Pierre is like
there's a selection of clones for the Pierre and another selection of clones for the Pierre. Pierre is mostly Italian clones, and great part of them, they come from Massal selection that we did in all the vineyards. Basically, when we started rebuilding the vineyards in the mid-80s, we got rid of all the clones that were either producing too much or were not interesting from an aromatic point of view. And we kept, you know, the vines that were interesting and what we thought that could have given a good quality, and we replicated them. So this is the Massal selection that we did.
Chardonnay, it's only 1 clone.
No, again, it's always more clones.
Now you have this climate, you know, which is like first
the climat.
It's 2016 was the first vintage.
Yes, well, the climat is a completely different story. Basically, we always analyzed, you know, we keep track of the development of the vineyards. It's important to analyze constantly the soil, to research, you know, the soil, to understand how, you know, if the vineyard is healthy, what it needs or what it doesn't need. So during this kind of research and checks, we realized that inside the vineyard Romans and inside the vineyard of Champagnes, there were some plots. They were actually slightly different. They had their own, you know, characteristics. To study that, we started doing some micro-vinifications, and we realized that actually they were, you know, basically some climat, you know. Unfortunately, it doesn't exist an Italian word to express that concept. It's obviously very popular in Burgundy, and we had to use the French word to express the entire idea. So we started vinifying these wines separately. Is small production, but just to give an idea how, you know, different it can be. We came out with a kind of mixed cases, an horizontal tasting of 6 different Chardonnay that are produced inside the
fine trackers. This is 6 different parcels with 6 different Chardonnay, which have the name of this parcel. Yeah.
Yes, the name of the family who originally owned.
Same aging in everyone. You know?
Same aging, same vinification,
everything.
So there's no differences in the techniques because we wanted to highlight the difference that's coming from the vineyard.
Super. And just one thing that I think would be interesting, you know, to explain when people open your Pinot Grigio, you know, it's not white, it's a couple of colors. You call it in Friuli Ramato.
Yes.
What is Ramato?
Ramato means copper color, and it comes from an old tradition. Until the 70s in Friuli, actually, the Pinot Grigio was produced in that way. But they didn't have the techniques that we have today, so the wine could have been also slightly oxidized, but still, you know, the concept was you do some skin contact, and since the skin of the Pinot Grigio is dark, you get also some color. Then Pinot Grigio became popular worldwide because of some big important industrial producers. They're making a big marketing project, especially in the States. And the demand on the market was, you know, focusing on this new version of Pinot Grigio, which was vinified, separating the skins from the juice. So it was light, a light color, very easy drinking, and slightly fruity. But at a certain point, it was more than 15 years ago, Gianfranco thought that that's not the way to produce, you know, a Pinot Grigio. So he really wanted to go back to the traditional way of producing it, first of all. And secondly, he thought that Pinot Grigio is a wine with a great potential. If you vinified it, separating the skin from the juice, you lose 80% of the potential of the wine. So he said, okay, as I'm producing all my whites with 20 hours of skin contact, I will do the same for the Pinot Grigio. And then the moment when it came out on the market with this Ramato style, right now the more and more producers are actually following this new wave. But we were among the first to do it again.
Just to not complain when you open the bottle, it's not white. It's normal.
Oh, it's normal. It's the real color of the Pinot Grigio, actually. Yes. And it's quite appealing because it's not a rosé, and definitely is not an orange wine.
When you say about aging, it's very interesting because wines from the Via di Roma have very big potential for aging. You know?
Oh yes.
We speak about 15 plus years, you know, in any case. I know last time when we was here with some sommelier, we taste this Lord Lewis, you know, which is Poulet, Rhine Riesling, Friulano, and Malvasia Istriana. It was interesting question. Okay, we are drinking the last vintage. It was now 2019 at the moment. And somebody asked, okay, this is okay, but it's possible to aging. You know, Gallo go in the cellar, you know, bring 2007, 2008 was wow, you know, it was really, really amazing.
It's one of, when Gianfranco started producing wines, he had exactly a perfect idea of what he wanted to do. He had very clear idea of what he wanted, and he wanted wines that were actually expressed in the terroir, and that's the reason why he works only with single vineyards. And secondly, wines with a long aging potential. And that's, you know, the two crucial things about Via di Roma.
Yeah, this is interesting because I'm sad because you don't have anymore. It's not possible to buy, you know, 2008, you know, 7 vintage, which is in some period when we start to work. Like, hello, do you want to buy this? And the people can't believe we take this 2008, this fantastic wood box, you know, and was open this is completely different, you know, in this style, but was, wow, mamma mia, what is this? 10 years, 10 more, you know, fantastic. Okay, well, what you think you go inside, or?
Yes, if you like, we can just have a look at.
Let's go to look inside, you know. Easy going.
Unless you have questions about, you know,
question, people. Questions. We have some questions.
No, Professor, we're all fine.
Okay, we talk while we drink.
But you know what is the people, because we have big fans, you know, for Via di Roma's wine. But it's one thing. It's very crucial, you know, to have the wine will be aging so long. There must be production in the wine very, very clean, very clear, strictly, you know, clear. And this is interesting, you know, how Gallo make this wine always from the beginning.
But everything starts here, you know, when you have vineyards with 6,000 plants per hectare,
up to say about
7.
When you have so deep roots, you know, it's easy. When you
but it's even the, you know, the way you
cultivate
cultivate
the wines, you know, in the young, and after 10 years, 15 years, you feel depth minerality in the wine, you know.
But I think there is one thing you didn't mention, didn't everything you were saying, but I think you should say something about what you did over there with that.
This is
something really interesting for
you know what it is?
Yeah, the
wind machine.
Explain to me, but
bravo, I forgot. This is almost new.
Yes. Because for me, this was the amazing discovery, really.
It's really proud because it's really interesting. You know, I think when you go make this, it's the first year.
It was, I guess, 2018, if I'm not wrong.
2018, yes, something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it was just after that big frost events that hit, most of Europe for 2 consecutive years, and he realized that it was important to protect production. What we did at that time, we lit fires all over, part of the vineyards. We sprayed with water, some other hectares, and then we had all our workers driving the tracks up and down the roads the whole night. So when the frost comes, you can do that, but you have the energies to do that for 1, maximum 2 days.
Yeah.
And you have to pick the right one, So he said this is a risk that he doesn't want to take anymore, and so he did some research, and there are many types of these machines. These were probably the more suitable for our environment, and they are produced in, I think, in Washington State, and yes, but we bought them from the importer in Europe, and we placed basically 14 of them around.
14.
They covered almost the entire vineyard area. Yes. And basically, they have a temperature control system. So when the temperature drops below a certain level, they start working. So they move the air from the top to the bottom. The air at the top is warmer than the one at the top, and if you do that, you basically gain 1 or 2 degrees, which is enough to avoid the frost. Yeah. That's the principle.
It's an expensive project.
Yes.
Giorgio, we need to raise the price of the wine. No.
I think it's about 1 million euros. And but if you think, in the future, if they save just one, harvest, you have already repaid the entire system.
Yes, so it's a simply amazing idea, to be honest.
Uvijek me opominju, evo vinofili, nemoj to, budi kulturan, budi fin. Idemo dole. Do all these things move there?
No. Huh? The production stays here.
Okay, super.
No, as I said, there is only offices, hospitality, and underground the cellar with the barrels. Okay.
But be careful,
Well, we can stop here just to say a few words about the structure. Well, this cellar was built in 1990, and it was enlarged twice. So that's the reason why we actually, at this point, we needed, to rethink the entire concept. The cellar is based on 3 levels. The ground level is where we do the vinification, and there's a lab, as you see.
You finish the harvest with the red and...
Matteo, come siamo con la raccolta? Finito i rossi? Chiuso tutto. Okay, we have 1 level underground is where we have the warehouse, and 2 level underground is now is a second warehouse. Before it was where we kept the barrels.
And for example, 64 hectare, how is usually production?
The average is 300,000 bottles a year. So the yields are very low. If you think there's a maximum of 1 kilo per plant, and with vineyards that have between 6,000 plants per hectare up to 7,800 plants per hectare. But very, very low yields. There's a lot of selection, and then it happens some vintages that the conditions force us to do more selection. So
do you have the plan to have more vineyards, to buy, or how is the deal?
We have to ask Gianfranco about that. Maybe Matteo knows something.
Matteo maybe knows something. I don't want to say that.
Which is better not to put it on record for now.
Of course, we are going to increasing the number of hectares, but
Very
Very
slowly.
slowly.
Very slowly. Yeah,
yes.
of course.
The new building is not something that will bring. We are not doubling the production.
Yeah.
New building.
Yeah, no, the Gallo philosophy.
We double only the surface of the concrete, but not the surface of the hectares.
Yeah, okay.
We just needed to be a little bit more comfortable.
Yeah, I ask you, because we have the fun there. I ask you, Georgia, we have this Chardonnay.
Yeah.
Yes, be patient.
Right.
Okay, finish how was this year, You have some info how are you satisfied? You speak with father or I ask Gallo later, this vintage 2022.
Was it qualcosa di più?
No,
yeah.
This vintage was a very particular one because of the heat and the warm conditions we had. So the season started with some delay respect to the normality, but very fast the season recovered the growth cycle because of lack of water, since we were without water since from January until the end of the harvest almost, and very high temperatures. Okay, so we started very early this harvest on the 25th of August, and we finished just a few days ago with the Merlot, exactly. Even if we were expecting even lower yields due to the lack of water and several problems due to this, we can say that at the end the concentration of the grapes was good, and we are expecting good quality. But as every year, we have to wait.
Okay.
It's too early
to say.
No, just like the first
Some wines are
information,
still fermenting,
Yes.
so it's too early to say.
How was the grape, I know Marco told me when he was in Belgrade, he said, Georgie, we need the rain,
But it's you have to consider one thing that I forgot to mention before. It's we're lucky because our appellation allows to irrigate on emergency. While on the hillsides we didn't have this opportunity, we have a system of channels that actually they take water from the river and we can irrigate. It's controlled, obviously, and you have to share it with your neighbors, the other producer, or not only wine producers. And but that's allowed us really to. It mitigates very much. It really can help a lot in vintages like this, which are very hot, and you avoid that stress, water stress that sometimes can be really dangerous for the plant if it goes above a certain level. And we basically did it constantly, but with a very slow amount of water.
Every day.
Like drop of the water.
Yes, exactly. So in that way, we managed to keep the life of the plant, in a very healthy condition despite the heat.
This is some local organization who say, okay, we can irrigate, and you will share with some another wine.
Yes.
From Isonzo, it's working like this.
Yes. Of course. It's a municipality system, and you have to ask the permission. And then you have to share that permission with all the others.
But just to understand better, the situation of this summer was a very critical situation because in other appellations, the municipality completely stopped the irrigation system. So we were lucky also. So in this vintage, we can say we had less problems in the first part of the spring, less problems in terms of intervention for
they did diseases of...
Okay, so less intervention because it was very dry, but more work with following the water amount in the vineyards during the season. So less work in one side, but more work in another side. So it's always the same.
In Verona, when we come to see again, you know most how we have more information about this vintage, how was actually.
But from this vintage we will speak up in the 2024. So
we're now waiting this 2021.
Okay, if you follow us, we can see the area where we work during the harvest, and I can explain the vinification plan.
Yeah. It's full, everything, yeah.
Well, now it's pay attention on the pipes, yeah. Okay. Okay, this is now they just took away everything. Anyway, this is the covered area where we have normally the sorting table.
Grape, yeah.
The grapes are coming in. They go on a sorting table. From the sorting table, they go into the destemmer, and from the destemmer through a pipe system, they come in and they go through. As you see, this serpentine. It's a system that basically pushes down the temperature. If you follow me, it's better to. So, the grapes come in through the pipe system, they go into the serpentine, and for another pipe system, they are placed into the presses. What's important to understand is from the moment we destem until the end of a maceration, we work in an oxygen-free environment. And basically, the presses have been modified and they work in saturation of nitrogen. So this avoids any kind of possible oxidation or micro-oxidation of the wines, and it's a natural system that protects the grapes and gives the opportunity to keep the original flavors. Basically what we do 20 hours of skin contact in cold maceration. After that there's a soft pressing, and then we move the wines into the tanks.
Yeah.
Some of the wines we do are the so-called pulp maceration too, not all of them.
And this small one, what is used? It's the same, or what is the idea with this small one?
It depends, the quantity. As we work with separate, with single vineyards, you need to keep the grapes separate, and sometimes, you have small quantities to finish the day, just.
Interesting, yeah.
And just the same with the vats, You don't see big, huge vats here. The maximum are, what, 200? Yeah, 200 hectoliters. And but we have a lot of small ones too, because we need to keep separate the different vineyards and not mix them up all together. And sometimes
case somebody make more liters, less tanks, your philosophy is
you never had the 200 production of 200 hectoliters. Exactly. That's why you need different sizes. Anyway, all the fermentations are started in stainless steel. They generally last an average of 2 weeks, so they're long and slow. And then some of the wines finish the fermentation in stainless steel and they stay on the dead yeast for 9-10 months, and we do a kind of steering. Some of the wines, they actually are moved into the barrels and they finish the fermentation in the barrels, and then again they sojourn on the lees for about 9-10 months, and we do a regular batonnage. That's it, end of the story. 9-10 months, it depends a little bit from the vintage and from what we see, but an average.
And after that in barrel.
And after that, before the bottling, we put them we wrap them into the tank again to do the mass, and then there's the bottling. Nothing, no big secrets.
No, of course it's a
The secrets are in the vineyards.
No secret, yeah, of course. This is for Baltasar, this is Sezona, no, this is Sauvignon.
This is all for Baltasar.
Okay. So there is.
Yeah, but this is the new vintage, the one that you have.
Yeah, 21, we are waiting. Yeah. Where is the merch, my mamma mia. We're now going from this new,
Yes,
in the new cellar, yeah.
Connected. So
This is the underground channel that connects the two buildings.
the only part we can see and visit is the bike.
Okay, I understand, no problem.
The rest of the buildings they are
Let's move the whole Arik from this place, you can move it
just
to
to Pastillo. the harvest starting. With all the barrels. So last year we already aged the wines in this area. It's the second year we use this.
Ok. Znači sad smo u donjem delu novog dela ove vinarije Vinoteka Baltasar.
Now you can see the vaporization system. This is to restore humidity. Okay? We must maintain humidity at 85%.
Why? Personally, from the beginning, I'm from Vieris, you know, I like this style, but when we start to working, Pierre, it's an easy way you can detect this is Sauvignon, you know, it's on the first, you know, and...
Pierre is more immediate.
Immediately, yeah.
And it's easier, it has an easier approach even for people with not big knowledge about wine. Vieris is more for a connoisseur, it's more for people who have already an experience, you know, with Sauvignon.
That means like turn, you know, philosophy to going to take more Vieris, you know, and to be like have it in Tony Magellan, if you prepare in restaurants, you know, to have Vieris because it's very complex, it's very, very structured, you know, and you don't have from Italy so many Sauvignon in this style, you know, we speak about the style of Italian wine, you know, this is nice.
Okay, we can go on with the 2008.
Nema pljuske.
Samo te gledam. Kad ćeš?
Pa ne znam ni ja pijem.
Ko te ne zna?
Nešto mi centar malo zakazao, ali centar kao se drži, Boga mi ozbiljno. Bitno da nam je vezna linija i zadnja linija jaka, daćemo kad tad gore, razumiješ, ali bitno da ga ne primimo. Jeli mišlju, to negdje ispravljeno.
Ako kaniš pobediti, ne znaš izgubiti.
Kad tad se centar fori probude, razumiješ, kad tad ono se da neki godičak.
Ja sam ti rekla da možda računaš na neki igrač.
Mi sa klube smo tu da uključimo kad god treba.
Tako je.
Izginemo po ljudi.
Pokrijemo te pozicije.
Dola, šta im je ovo klimat?
To je to što smo pričali od tih 6 šardoneja koji je izašla ta prva 16. i sad će da izađe 20. sa 6 parcela, ista tehnika rada, tehnologija, isto odležavanje i to smo imali par prilika da probamo kako se zove šardone. Ako ti je interesantno, možda i pitamo. Tony asked me about this climate, you know.
Yes.
What you think maybe to open one bottle just to see...
Yes, of course.
Just to see philosophy.
Well, actually, abbiamo ancora quelle aperte.
6 pozicija, radimo su jednu seriju samo onako premium za privatne kupce. Prodaje se kao 6 različitih pozicija šardoneja, mi smo imali prilike probamo i stvarno je fantastično jer je vidi razlika od vinograda do vinograda.
I ovo su samo nazivi vinograda?
Tako, to su nazivi vinograda, tehnika održavanja potpuno identično za svaki i kad ovako probaš sve što smo imali ovo jedan po dva prilike da probamo, stvarno vidiš koja je to razlika od pozicije vinograda, ta strana, ova strana, da li ne znam. Ne, nijedno je oni su izvukli iz podruma, nije sad ovo, to je tasting, znaš, nije iz frižidera, tako da ovo je dom iz podruma, ovo je sad 2008.
Sì, sì,
I sad dosta vidi, ovo je 14 godina.
Znači già, perché znači già
Vidi koliko je to još čisto.
Znaš po čemu se jedino razlikuje, bar po ovim informacijama iz ove knjige, dužina maceracije? Dužina maceracije i fermentacije se razlikuje od vinograda do vinograda, sve ostalo je isto.
A šta je sad ovo što pijemo? 2000?
To je Vieris.
To je 8.
A vidi koliko još to ima svežini u ustima. Strukturu, znači ovo mora još, do 10 godina bez problema. Iz ove situacije. Kiselina još vrlo postojana, vrlo je tu, a ima tela, ima sve. This 2008, it's fantastic. Really fantastic.
And it's still, you know, very lively and no sign of decrease of any... And I love these wines that the nose it becomes so extremely mineral. All the fruitiness is turned into this intensifies the aromas, the typical.
The color is very interesting.
Yeah.
Deep yellow with green touch inside.
It still keeps that green once again.
Yeah. Znači, ovaj su vinjeni 14 godina star, 2008. Vjeric, fantastično.
And imagine this is a cellar temperature, so if it was just a little bit cooler, it would be.
You should just have that, yes.
We're not opening these bottles very often, so we don't keep them in the fridge. Because if you leave them, more than one or 2 weeks in the fridge, the quality drops in the wine. So that's why we bring them only from the cellar.
Allora nel passato c'era il mare proprio molto
Što ti sad, evo, znači potpuno je, znači ona šezona zdrava.
La mineralità viene dal fatto che sono terreni stromati lontani con le rocce dolomitiche e quelle hanno dentro minerali.
Ručica i drveta sa ovim smo ga isto.
Ima jak nos i ospeti više minerala.